Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and today I'm joined by all these nerds for some dungeoning and delving. Since our dungeon master is Nerdarchist Ted, I'm going to hand it right over to you, and you can deal with this as you wish, my friend.
Hello and welcome all of you awesome people. We're getting ready to start a new game tonight. We'll dive straight into the world, the setting for just a moment. Uh, just so that everybody, players included, will have a little clue. It is the distant future. Magic and technology exist within the vast cityscape. Deep dark wilderness still exists, filled with dangerous creatures. Meanwhile, cities overflowing with people watch telescreens at home for entertainment. One such program pits telescreen celebrities against traps, obstacles, dangerous hazards, and mighty monsters, all to earn fame and profit. Dungeons and Delving is the top watched program, and successful champions or teams are regarded as the pinnacle of fame. Groups get sponsored by corporations and enter the arena as prepared as they can be. All the while, the devious controllers plot their doom. Controllers' identities are kept secret to avoid bribery and favoritism. The host, yours truly, controls the gifts sent in from sponsors and donations, or adds in extra hazards when champions perform substandardly on air. Will this round of heroes stand high and gain a platinum trophy, or they fall to the wayside and be forgotten and replaced? After all, this is Dungeons and Delving. So, with that, our illustrious champions, as you will, are seen here. They have gone through the preliminary stage and have been selected for this round. One of numerous that have already, transpired. Some teams returning for another chance at victory, while new teams, such as the ones we have here, have stepped up to try to gain fame and glory. So for this first session, we'll take a quick moment, allow each character to introduce who they are, who they're playing, and how they chose to enter said tournament. So we'll start it off with Dave. You can pass it along as you will.
All right. Well, my friends call me Enzo Ballinger, and I'm a chef extraordinaire. And I thought I was signing up for the hottest cooking show on on the net, but apparently one of my rivals, Chef Bub, handed me the wrong application, and now I am delving the dungeon. But that's okay. I will still earn enough money to one day open my dream restaurant, a fusion of elven and dwarven cooking. Uh, hey, you there, good sir? Are you an elf, dwarf? What are you?
Oh, Heidi ho there. My name is Burke Deep Hollow, don't you know? And I'm a dwarf. Mom's a dwarf, dad's an elf. I've got here my trusty companion, Hefty. He's just a little baby right now, but he sure will grow up to be right big. We raise these things on my farm. They're called Ganchuans, don't you know? They get to be rather large. And yeah, I'm here because I'm ready to have some fun and have some adventures with my little buddy here. Hey, you look really interesting and you're pretty. Ma'am, what is your name?
I mean, obviously, you're talking to me. Hi, I am a bard by the name of Nebula. You may know me from my hit single that came out a couple of years ago. Anyone that tells me I'm trying to drag my career out of the toilet can just tell me how my boots taste. But I'm going to crush you all. I think there's one of us left.
Yeah, whatever. I'm Tabitha, if you must know. And if you're looking for some kind of corny intro, I didn't bring cheese to the sword fight, and I heft up this big great fort sword in front of me. But when I do, I make sure it's extra sharp.
So you all find yourselves in this antechamber. You have had a chance to actually introduce yourselves to this group, and you've been informed that you are the last four selected, representing the sixth team. After some quick deliberation, you've decided to give yourself the team name And who remembers what that actually is?
We had all decided it would be the Chimera, and we entrusted Nebula here to fill out the form.
And of course, I put was it spectacular?
The sensational
The
chimera.
sensational
Is what
You
we-
chimera.
judged it up.
The sensational chimera is what was.
I mean, how am I supposed to remember what I wrote down? That was a whole 10 minutes ago.
Is what was put on the form. You are instructed that in order to kind of proceed, sponsorships are a typical thing, and that there are 4 groups for members waiting that have not actually had a chance to select which team they are willing to actually go with. You can meet them in the order that you so choose. If you find one that you are agreeable to, you can end the process right then and there. If all parties are good. But the options, Big Billy Corp. Those of you who are familiar with the pseudo fast food franchise would certainly know those. Terrible Ideas, the tech company, the Church of the Great Eye, and Man's Mighty Munitions. And as stated, you would be able to have opportunities to sit down with each and every one, should you so desire. But this would be your first opportunity to actually get some sponsors and have some better gear to be able to go in and handle the actual dangers of delving.
Hear me out. Okay. I really like the sound of getting some more technology up in here. I mean, it couldn't hurt. And what's fast food going to do for us anyway?
Oh, fast food is very important. Like, some days you're out on the farm just working so hard and, you just plumb forget to eat. And then all of a sudden it's midnight and you haven't eaten anything. And, well, you want to go get a burger because you certainly don't have the energy to cook.
Fascinating.
Oh, yes, it's very fascinating. I mean, to think you get a meal in like 3 minutes. That's amazing. The wonders of modern magic.
That stuff is garbage. I was hoping to maybe get Blades of Sharpness to sponsor me one day. They make the sharpest, best blades ever. Matter of fact, I would never think of cutting anything without a blade of sharpness.
I guess if you need to waste time eating and stuff like that.
Oh, you don't
That
like
could be
food?
important.
I'm sorry, what?
Eating.
Don't worry. I will bring you around. But before this is done, you're going to feast on the finest elf dwarf fusion cookie. Matter of fact, I'm hoping our friend here, Burke, will be able to maybe give me some of his homespun recipes.
Oh,
I'm
I
sorry,
don't
what
have
did you
any
say your name was?
recipes.
Elliot? I don't want to eat elves.
No, it's our style of cooking mixed with the dwarven cooking. It's so good, so spicy.
Oh, I mean, sometimes it is kind of spicy. Sometimes it's not so spicy. It just depends. I don't know about this fusion nonsense, but I certainly know about food. And let me tell you, my mom and pop make some good food.
Well, I already have the best cutting edge technology, but I certainly wouldn't mind seeing what other nifty things we might get from, was it Terrible Ideas?
Yes, indeed.
How do you carry that sword? It's like the size of you.
I'm really strong.
Oh, that's very
And I'll
impressive.
put my arm out to like air arm wrestle you.
Oh, I don't think I could do that now. I don't want to hurt myself before we go in the dangerous dungeon.
Wise choice.
So you've got somebody who clearly looks a little uncomfortable around you guys. With a little bit of a clipboard. Orange shirt that says D&D on it. It's like, well, if you guys want to go to meet whoever, I mean, certainly there's timetables and you want to have time to talk to everybody. Who did you want to talk to first?
Terrible.
Indeed. So that would be right this way. Leads you down a pristine hallway. Everything seems to be neat and tidy in this place. Nothing seems to be out of order. Every once in a while, you see a a broom that's being moved along on its own. Dustpan just kind of slowly moving along in front of it. Uh, but you're led to a door that has a placard that's placed on it that has a rabbit in motion on a cog, and above that it says hair, like HARE dash able ideas. And the door opens, and inside there's a couple individuals. They've got their own little handheld devices. They seem to be operating much the way that you've seen Nebula doing things. The two humans that are standing there conversing with a kobold that seems to be in a very nice business suit, but very much out of place is this fluffy set of bunny ears that are just like on a hairband on top of him. And as you guys approach, he stands up, pulls at the suit jackets that everything looks, completely pristine. I see that the next, interview is ready. Greetings. My name is Craig. I own Hairable Ideas, and apparently you are looking to possibly work with myself. So, well, straight to away. Why do you think that Hairable Ideas would be a good fit for you, and why are you a good fit for me?
We are the next group that you have to talk to, but I am here to tell you that we're also going to be the last ones you'll need to talk to. Look, you can see my assembly of misfits here, but you've got your star power, and yeah, people, they freaking love me. Like, enough said, mic drop.
So people love you, and that is why I should shower you with gifts that's going to make you succeed and bring more recognition to my company's brand.
We're going to succeed anyway, but you you make your offerings, you make your deal with us. We'll use the things you give us, and people will be like, oh, this is really good stuff. It's a win-win.
I reach into one of my many pouches on my apron and pull something out. May I offer you one of these mustard flavored mushroom pastries?
Mustard mushroom pastry.
Yes, I made it myself.
Well, I dare say that is certainly an interesting combination of elements.
Yeah, it's a fusion of dwarven and elven cooking styles.
So he looks to the human who completely towers over his 3.5 to 4 foot frame. You do it. the human reaches out, takes the pastry, and there's definitely a look back and forth between the two before the human takes a decent bite. So go ahead and give me a cooking utensils roll to see how well you prepared this thing.
Now that's a hell of a first roll for a campaign.
Yeah, man, that's the most important role.
I will allow you to
That's
do Dex or intelligence or wisdom. Your call on this one.
Okay, I'll go with Dex because that's a good roll. That's a 22. 18 on the die.
If you've ever seen someone who is, pleasantly surprised, and unable to hold back their reaction, that is exactly what you wind up seeing here. Like, he takes the first bite, and there is so much trepidation in the action that it's like slow motion, and time just seems to stop as his eyebrows almost crawl off of his face, just completely up his brow, and he can't chew fast enough to get ready to take the second bite. He's just full of shock and awe. And as soon as he politely finishes chewing, he is heaping you with praise and adoration. That this pastry just seems to have what no other pastry has ever had.
That's right, because that sucker just got some temporary hit points as well. My friend, have you heard of the famous elven blade singers?
Blade singers are known.
Yes. Well, forget them. In the elven culinary arts, there are the knife dancers, where we combine cooking and performance, and I begin like juggling knives and stuff, and like slicing stuff in there. Like pull a cooking board out of my pouch, slice things on it. It goes back in, and I produce another mushroom treat for him.
So he passes it along to Crag, the kobold, and Crag definitely is not as surprised, because we've already had the reaction of his cohort, his colleague, if you will. He takes the whole thing in one bite. Kobold's maul slightly bigger than humans, so it's definitely room to just snap it up. Your knife skills and your cooking skills certainly, I don't want to say are without equal. I've watched quite a bit on the telescreen, but definitely are in a league with the best. But how is that going to fare you in the dungeon?
Hey, Ted. Can I make a technology roll to see if I can, get an idea of what they're doing on their phones from my phone while this is going on?
Sure.
The dungeon is stocked with monsters, is it not?
Indeed, the dungeon will have some combat, but there is a difference between filleting meat that is already dead and stabbing things that are trying to eat you.
Not where the elven knife dancers are involved. You shall see. What is a monster but meat that has yet to be prepared?
That's certainly a interesting take on it. Our company aims to be the best when technology is concerned.
But also, we have Tabitha. Look at the size of her sword. It's enormous.
I sort of roll my eyes and drag the sword, which is huge. She's strong and stuff, but it's as big as her.
Her sword is so big.
And I plant it in the ground, and I go through a series of casting all these cantrips, but they all have sword things. So she makes this weird arcane gesture to cast Blade Ward, and these spectral swords just lock into place in front of her, and I she casts False Life on herself, and this again this just spectral sword image protect is in front of her, and then I look over at Burke's. What's your Ganchuan's name?
Hefty.
His name is Hefty.
Okay. Or before that, what kind of stuff is in this? Do they have their wares here, or is this just a meeting room?
There are a handful of crates in the back of the room.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of tables. There's chairs.
Okay.
There's room that if everybody wanted to sit down, that there is space and the equipment to do so.
Okay. So never mind then. So yeah, I'm gonna look over at Hefty and plant my feet, and I'm gonna try to Actually, could I use one of those little Segway things?
Of course.
To say that I worked out with him in advance a display where he'll I'll give him a mean face, and he'll charge me if Burke's okay with this first. He'll charge me. I'll just take it to show how tough I am, and just charge bash into me headlong. And I was trying to show how much punishment I can take.
Okay.
So they'll say, yeah, I don't know how you want to do that. Like, do you want to like role play that or just that was just
Role play is just fine.
okay.
You know,
Are you okay with that, Stephen?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and I just plant my feet and I'll, make a gesture intimidation check, just if that's relevant or whatever.
all
I
right.
rolled a 24 and I just give him a mean face and I'm like, no, charge me. And I'm like, when you're in these dungeons as he's charged, I'm like, you're gonna need somebody tough to protect your team. And I just like kind of brace myself as he bashes into me. And hopefully
Okay, I just kind of like lean over and I pat Hefty on the head. I'm like, okay, buddy, go get her. And he just like romps with this like, and then like right into her.
Those unfamiliar with a Gantuan, they are a massive 6-legged pack animal, super fuzzy, super furry, kind of monstrosity. And apparently Burke races them on his farm. So he's got a baby one here that's following him around.
What size is that baby, Burke?
He is only medium right now. He is still pretty small. He uses the stats from Tasha's for the Beast of the Land.
So by kind of small, you mean like the size of a person?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like up to my shoulder-ish, like elbow shoulder area.
Okay.
He's medium long, as they would say.
Yeah.
So the thing charges into you. So let's why don't we do a little bit of a opposed strength roll between Tabitha and Hefty.
All right. So his strength is a +2. However, he has a charge attack. So he needs to attack, and then you would have to make a strength saving throw.
Tabitha's just standing there, so
Okay.
Yeah, I want to take
opposed strength or opposed athletics, whatever you got.
I will grasp my talisman, which is also in the form of a sword, because she just is all about swords, and use its power, Pact of the Talisman power, which is basically guidance and an ability.
Okay, so I got a 16 to hit.
Let's see, I got 19 total. On a strength. You said it was just a strength check?
All right, so this full-on Gantuan rush, because it's not a bull rush, and Tabitha just kind of like takes it. The impact, hits through the layers of your magical swords that are in the way, and your foot just moves slightly back. An impressive display, and the human.
And as I got him in like as I grasp his head to like kind of scritch him behind the ear, I'm like,
the humans certainly are rather shocked at this somewhat are you frail? Are you not frail?
Well, I mean, she's like
okay. So I had a different picture in my head with some earlier conversations.
Yeah, sure. She looks like she kicks some ass. I'm just not proficient with a great sword. It's no problem carrying.
So you take the hit, slide back only a mere inch, and the humans that are standing there, they are unable to conceal their shock at this beast not moving you more than an inch. The kobold just kind of shakes his head in appreciation of it. Well,
I'm awesome.
Definitely like what I'm seeing. I haven't really heard much from the one who seems to be communicating more with this beast. What is your role here, sir?
Well,
it was just the beast handler.
I've got Hefty here, and I can navigate things, and I can sneak around real good, and I mean, growing up on the farm, you got to know how to take care of wounds and whatnot once in a while. And obviously, your company is called Hairable, and we've all got lots of hair. Like her hair's pink and her hair's white. And he's got a beard and I've got a beard. And look at Hefty, he's practically made of hair. So, clearly we'd be a good advertisement for you because all the hair.
Well, you do understand and he kind of pulls up the necklace showing the rabbit in front of the cog. The name actually happens to do with my favorite animal, the hare.
Oh, yes. Hares also have lots of hair. That's why they're called hares.
Well, clearly
I
you're
got
not.
a 19, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
So, getting back to Nebula's question, and to inform those in the chat who might be watching, we've actually created a new skill for this particular game, technology or tech, as a knowledge skill under intelligence, to be able to handle the use of such devices and what have you. And trust me, things will come up, such as now. So at 19, are you legitimately trying to follow them on things, or are you trying to just straight up hack their devices to see what's going on? I don't know.
I think you know the answer to that.
I didn't know what direction Nebula would actually go with that.
Quick question, Ted.
Sure.
So, working social media, would that be a charisma technology check?
That would absolutely
Ooh.
be a charisma technology check. But, so are you trying to go that way, or are you trying to go, legitimate hacking?
Oh, yeah, I'm legitimately trying to hack into his device.
Okay.
And leave him a little note.
All right. With a 19, you are unable to get in. You understand that these guys are the top and would have the top layer of technology, including protections against such things.
So can I make an intelligent comment then about the kind of defenses that his phone has?
You would be able to comment on make and model and what have you. You would be able to comment on the protections therein, and if you were just straight up of yeah, I couldn't get in, if you think that's going to go over well, of hey, I tried to just hack your stuff and you didn't know it, or that I couldn't get in, it could go either way.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is definitely the kind of character that would just straight up say something like that and expect it to go perfectly fine, and then just brush it off if it didn't as being a fluke. Sure. Because
of course. So what do you say to them?
Just I haven't actually seen this kind of ice in a while. That's pretty damn impressive, actually.
What do you mean?
I think you know what I mean.
So, trying to snoop?
I mean, to a certain extent, but clearly it didn't work.
Well, I mean, he holds up the device, and it's sized proportion more for himself, and he's the smallest one in the room, and
then he immediately point something out about the phone on the camera on his phone or something, just kind of squee about that a little bit, and then I stop and I'm okay, sorry, go on.
You pick up the beyond the phone, the very tailored, expensive attire that he's wearing. You could probably mention particular elements therein, but when it comes to the actual device, this is more than just this is not a model that you're going to just go down to the local store and pick up. This one literally has his face emblazoned upon the corner with the logo of his company in the other, not as a screen cover, not as a thing that gets added on. This is straight up what his company is known for, and he's the one in charge. So yes, I am aware of what my phone can do, and I give you kudos for the gall in trying.
I lean into Burke. I'm starting to think they don't make hair care products at all.
I know, right? Like, this place is very unhairy for a place that has hair in the name. And he's even got bunny ears on. Like, I'm very confused right now.
I'm just gonna look back at them, and then I'm gonna look back at him, and I'm just gonna mouth, "Help me."
To who?
To you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was distracted for a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah, to the kobold.
Oh.
Oh, to the kobold. Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
saying
Oh.
Tabitha. Well, it seems that you have a bit of an idea of what my products can do. So the avenue of consideration here is either.
Wait, do we?
Yes.
We don't know anything what their products can do.
Yes, we do.
Oh.
She does.
Oh, okay.
So the avenue of consideration is if we decide to work with you or you with us, how it goes. We would be able to provide items that would be able to assist you. Obviously, that is how all of this works. But everything that I would be able to provide is going to be tech-based. And, gives a nod to Nebula, a cursory glance at Tabitha and at Enzo, and then looks to Burke. Burke does not strike anyone as very knowledgeable in the ways of technology and has clearly been lost for most of this conversation. But
I bet he's got a tractor back home.
The items that I would be able to provide, some would offer several, ongoing or long-term benefits, where other things would be use and discard, if you will. So I am just curious if you feel that we are an actual proper fit for this team. The last meeting we had was with the Black Razor's Revenge.
Ooh, they sound scary.
They
don't sound too scary to me.
They certainly seemed competent in what they're looking to do. I'm actually intrigued by one of their own who happens to not actual blood relation, but a kin of mine, a fellow kobold. But they don't seem as knowledgeable about tech as the lady here.
I am telling you, if you want what you have on offer to be used to devastating effect, if you want the people that are actually going to buy this stuff and use it well to see what it can do, I can do that for you.
Well, I still think we need to consider. I'm not sold necessarily on just banking on you. You are part of a team, but I'm also not leaning towards the Black Razor's Revenge either.
Cool name.
You wish to think about it and consult another option?
All right, call me later. And I'll get up and head on out.
Oh, won't they need your number to call you?
Don't you have it already?
I don't.
The
I look at the kobold.
the man in the orange shirt with the clipboard is like, I got it all.
I thought so.
What's your name, clipboard man?
Bill?
Bill? Why don't you show us to the next potential sponsor, Bill? What do you guys want to check out? And Enzo, are you interested in this Big Billy Corp, or are you diametrically opposed to it?
You know, it is kind of crap.
I hear a lot of these restaurants actually employ, gourmet chefs at the corporate level to develop menus.
Yeah, but
That
it's
being said,
fast
they often
food,
churn
so like,
crappy food.
how much development is there really?
Yeah. I don't know. You whipped up that mushroom mustard torte pretty quick. That was fast. Maybe that could be.
There's a difference
angle.
between quick preparation of food and fast food.
Hmm.
Like, one of them barely has any nutritional value whatsoever.
Oh, but you acknowledge there
see.
is nutritional value there.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So Big Billy, Corp, is beyond like your typical fast food. It's, it is a corporation. It is bigger. They have, prepared things in marketplaces.
Oh.
They have stores where you can actually go and get quickly prepared food. But I would consider it above the term of what we would consider just typical fast food. In his prime, Big Billy was a top-rated chef across the city. He owns, many, as they would call it, a food joint and a restaurant, as well as a line of home cooking line of food and utensils.
Oh, okay.
So
I get it.
It is more than just your typical, insert today's fast food line.
Yeah. So Big Billy used to
It's
be
like
a
brand,
chef,
built around it.
but then he sold out.
Sounds like he's selling out tables all over town.
Well, I mean, I'm certainly interested to at least talk to the guy. I don't really know much about this sponsor business. So, it couldn't hurt. Plus, we could ask him where he sources his food from, because it's places like that that help farmers get their money.
That's a good idea. Like, every single hipster in the entire world cares about whether or not their meat is sourced from a place that cares about animals or whatever. And that's kind of a good look for us. So yeah, we should ask.
Well, of course I care about animals. I've got Hefty. Just pats him on the head.
So I imagine this conversation is happening while you're, being escorted down the hallway, and you're brought to yet another room. This one has a circle with a crossed spoon and fork.
Okay.
And as you have the door opened for you and are escorted into a room, your eyes are immediately drawn towards the largest, not only in height but in width, of goblin that you have ever seen. Hair's breadth over 4 feet tall, and flanking either side are 2 equally large orcs. The goblin does not rise, but waves his hand in the direction of one of the orcs, who kind of turns and looks at you guys as you enter, in a very, very deep voice. The orc says, hello and welcome, or welcome representing Big Billy Corp. I'm Daryl. This is Big Billy. And that's Daryl.
You're both Daryl.
Yes.
Big Billy's the goblin, or the other.
Big Billy is the goblin.
Okay.
But works are both named Daryl.
Gotcha.
Daryl squared.
Are they spelled differently though? Because that's important.
I don't know. How do you spell yours? I don't know. How do you spell yours? So it takes a moment, but they confirm that their name is spelled the same.
Are there any samples?
Alrighty then.
There is in fact, an array of food, and there's clearly things on the table in front of the goblin, and there is another tray that is set out that's clearly designed for guests. There's all things that are well prepared, probably not as well as Enzo might make them, but there are things that are designed to keep, so that as today's parade of potential sponsor interviews go, there are things that will not spoil. So they're all individual servings, so that there is no cross contamination from people touching things and what have you. So all of that seems to, come to Enzo's quick observation.
So I've got a question for you, sir, right off the bat. Where do you source your food from, and how do you treat your farmers?
So the goblin, takes a deep sigh. You're not trying to undercut me, are you?
Oh no, quite the opposite, in fact. If you do right by your people, then we'll do right by you.
We take care of those that we source our business.
Are your cockatrices free range?
Oh, we've moved away from cockatrices. Their meat has been known to have some problems of late.
Got a real stony texture.
Now the eggs, on the other hand, that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm. He is right there.
Well, he's not exactly trying to corner the vegan market, is he?
Would I have heard anything about how he treats his sourcers or anything like that, or suppliers?
That's probably gonna be a history check.
Okay. I am not great at those. Oh, I actually am trained in history. Wow.
I'm great at that.
Your simple homespun
I'm
wisdom.
actually decent at that. Let's see how this goes. Roll my D&D Beyond dice. I got a 13.
So there have not been any kind of scandals or anything along those lines. No, nothing saying with the current market that there's any kind of problem or issue. But there's nothing from the other side as well. Nothing to say that he's one of these creme de la creme who only goes for organic and winds up paying extra for said product. As you would the players with the name like corporation, it definitely comes down to profits, and that shows.
Oh,
So there's room
okay.
for growth,
Well,
but no scandal.
I messed up. I do have to eat. I just don't age. So I'm gonna take out a little pull out a knife that looks like a little miniature version of the bigger sword that I have, and just skewer one of the pieces of food and just take a bite of it and be like, so what could you do for us, I think is the question.
Well,
what can Big Billy Corp do for the sensational, I roll my eyes and I say that, chimera?
well, Billy kind of slaps his obese belly. He's like, well, we got a lot of things that we would be able to do. you got yourself looks like at least one of you knows how to eat and one of you knows how to cook. You got yourself I don't know, that dude's wearing a flippin' chef hat. So our our things, we specialize in having the right kind of blade. We specialize in having
I'm intrigued.
uh, things that you might be able to bring with you that will provide some variety of effects. As some of you might be aware,
I find the thing I took a bite of extremely delicious, but you cannot tell that by looking at my face.
The goblin definitely seems to break mid sentence to take heavy breaths. Seems to be winded quite easily, even through just talking.
Oh, my friend, that's because you need food that will fortify you. And I hand him one of my mushroom mustard pastries.
Yes, I would hate to think you're offering us a lifetime of health problems and weight struggles.
So he finishes his sentence as you're handing over the pastry. While what I have to offer, is not designed for the long term, except for the blades. A veritable snacks that can offer some ongoing effects for your dungeon runs. Every once in a while, instead of, as you may or may not be aware, the respite can be so taxing upon your score. For those of you familiar with Dungeons and Delving, the concept of a short rest mechanically is referred to as a respite. So as you take a rest to try and get ready for whatever the next obstacle or whatever have you, the camera speeds up and shows the viewers at home what you're, doing to pass the time. Meanwhile, your score rolls back points and points and points, depending upon how long you choose to actually rest. It's 5 points off your score for a single rest, 10 for your second, 15 for your third, and that's cumulative, not just a total of 5 per rest. So it can really destroy your score if you have to keep resting. But it's totally possible.
I say, wait a minute. This silly competition is scored? I thought it was just whoever didn't get killed won.
Oh, no, there's a scoring valve. Like, the game is only half survival. The other half is all showmanship. Like, you've got to be super flashy. And he just kind of like does the sparkly glitter hands.
And I'm like right behind him doing the same thing and then pointing.
And you got to get the fans on your side so they'll call in and vote for you.
You've got to have
right. That's how you get more points.
Huh.
You're not very familiar with this show, are you, Tabitha?
No, I say deadpan.
Zipper spotlight, and my little bot like flies overhead and like shines a light down on me.
So Bill kind of like steps up from the side. There's a whole scoring system. There's a ranking system based on how all the teams perform. Obviously, if somebody wants to get the platinum trophy, whoever's got the highest score after all 6 runs, is the one who gets the trophy. So 60% of your score is related to dealing with the traps, obstacles, combats and hazards that you encounter within. 20% of your score has to do with your time. And then the final 20% of your score has to do with how actual entertaining you are. So the viewers at home, can, submit through their telescreen who they think was best. They can, basically give you, an upvote or a thumbs up or whatever it is that they want to do. If they've, see moments where you've done something spectacular and entertaining, but, if you do something foolish, fail, or just do something dull, they can kind of takeaway points as well. So it's got that whole gradient thing going.
So you mean this pop star's cult following on that Hark app is more valuable than being an unkillable swordsman?
Always.
Get me one of those devices. I will conquer this Hark app. Like brandish my sword in the air.
Well,
It's gonna take more than brawn for that. Oh, honey.
that's interesting. But I mean, while was it Nebula? You said your name was.
You mean you don't know?
No. Yeah.
That's all right. I'll have something sent to the rock you've been living under. Go on.
There are certainly other people in this competition who are known. So it's not like somebody who has a following is going to automatically landslide anything. And as stated, and it looks like he's going into something that he's said before to another team or possibly to numerous teams over a couple of years, even though he does look fairly green, as in new, not as in skin color. The scoring for upvotes, and that's only going to be 20% of your score. So there are definitely other ways, and there are different elements within the run or within the delve that you can do to earn bonus points if you decide to take the more dangerous route, or if you could have done something with a simple magic spell, but you choose to go with a more entertaining and dangerous option. All of these things are factors that are taking into consideration. But
and then I will share those exploits on this platform.
But it is a it's a production. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, it's comes down to how much do you want how much do the viewers at home want to watch you continue? I mean, this is famous part of it, man.
They'll be afraid of how much they want to watch us win.
You know what? Yeah, they will.
We're going to eat up the competition.
Oh, that's a good one.
But that's only metaphorical. We would definitely appreciate the food you're offering.
So at the
and those swords.
The conversation brought it back around the food. Billy winds up kind of trying to rein the conversation back over to him. Realize we've got a Bill and a Billy in the same room. It's a problem. So this whole time you guys were talking to the guy with the clipboard, whereas the goblin Billy,
he was telling us about the points and stuff.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Billy, once food is brought back into the conversation, just corrals you back over. Now that all of that's nonsense is dealt with, some of the treats and things that I would be able to send you with could give you the effects of taking that breather without actually needing to lose the points, if you catch what I'm selling.
I do.
Oh, like performance enhancing foods. Are they legal in this event?
They're not illegal.
Do they test for them?
I mean, it doesn't matter if we don't get caught.
No, everything is completely above board.
You didn't hear that, Bill.
Everything's been run through the master of ceremonies. All the things that are sent in are actually sent to him before they're actually delivered to you guys. So
they're all approved.
All approved, no tampering, none of this nonsense.
I'll lean into Billy and be like, I don't think we'd be opposed to stuff that were against the rules. I'm trying to win here and make your company look good.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll there. And
Persuasion's a skill.
persuasion is a skill.
That's a thing. A thing that exists.
That's gonna be a 4 because I rolled a 4.
Well, we do like to follow the rules. Don't really like scandals. Not trying to get me in trouble, are you?
Absolutely not. You know what they say? No such thing as bad publicity. That's what I
Not
heard
that
anyway.
kind of trouble anyway.
Yeah, tell that.
I take out a little notebook. and
Have you
write
ever
that
heard of the
down.
song "Taste My Boots"? Nebula
That's-
there is the one that performed that song.
You wrote the boot song.
I wrote the boot song.
What happened? Where'd you go?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, but wasn't that song like 2 years ago? What have you done since?
I think that's called a one-hit wonder, is it? Right?
Shuts. I put out an album. It hasn't done very well yet, but it will.
Yeah, what was that? What was the name of the one who he turns to the orc? Yeah, what was the name of the the girl that came out with a song that messed that up? And the very big burly orc, to his left, he just kind of gets this like super bright smiley, face. Oh, that was Serafina, Galliman. She's amazing. You know what? I actually heard that she's here too.
I break the pencil that I'm holding in one hand and smile tersely. Is she now?
Yeah.
Who's she playing for?
We haven't had a chance to meet them yet. Hoping to actually get her autograph, but she's on the team of the Shining Unicorn.
Of course she is.
Oh, wait, Serafina's here? Like the Serafina?
Oh yeah, that's
My little sister loves her album. So does my little brother. One of my little brothers.
I get up and walk out. My heels click on the floor every step. I shut that door behind me. I continue down the hall.
What? Serafina's great. It's just raw talent. Nothing to be mad about. And I start like running after her.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
not
about
take
to
another
chase my
one.
boots
10.
from the wrong end.
I will. I'll say, Billy, thanks for your time, and I'll take a couple more of those.
I love how Tabitha's the polite
We have a
one.
few more people to meet. We'll return.
I love
What's
how
that?
Tabitha's the polite one that actually stayed to say goodbye.
All right, I'm apologizing to the audience. This
No.
thing is getting itchy. So
Oh
Sure.
no!
you'll have to deal
You've
with my
destroyed the
Understood,
illusion.
Where'd the immersion go?
Sorry.
Next thing you know, Doug's gonna take his Scott Summers glasses off, and then it's gonna be all ruined.
Yeah. Hey,
So we've got does Enzo leave the room as well?
Yeah. But as I'm on my way out, I'm like finger gunning him. Think about it. We both cook.
Billy definitely seemed impressed with what you were bringing to bear. It didn't seem to be like you need to sell yourselves to him.
And on my way out, I leaned into the Happy Daryl. I was like, Serafina, isn't that the pop star that gave that rapper ZZ an STD? And then I walk out.
Hadn't heard that one. He starts
MVP.
scratching. starts scratching at what little hair he's got left on top of his head.
I am gonna snap my fingers and address Bill and say, Bill, get me one of those devices. Make sure I have one of those. Isn't that your job to take care of us?
I guess I could get one, but I don't think that was necessarily in the contract that you guys signed. But I mean, we've got some obvious affiliation with Terrible Ideas, so
I will glower at him with my unsettling presence.
Yes, right away. So while I'm putting in this order, did you guys want to meet the Great Eye or Mans?
Ooh,
I like
the
having
great
more
eye.
eyes on me.
I am curious what this great eye is all about. Sounds interesting.
I guess we're going to the eye.
So,
It wouldn't hurt to see what all of these people have to say, right?
Yeah. Nebula, I didn't mean to make you mad. I was just talking about Serafina. Do you know her? You act like you know her.
I heard a rumor that she
Match
got
to
an
your
STD.
song in her song.
Listen, we don't talk about Serafina.
I heard a
Ever
rumor
again.
that she passes along sexually transmitted diseases.
What?
Can confirm.
That's what people are saying.
I've never heard that before. That's news
Well,
to me.
now
That's
you
probably
have.
from one of those tabloid magazines there you see in the grocery store.
Maybe you should start one of those Octothorpe things on your device.
You mean a hashtag?
Is that what you're calling it?
Only for the past 200 years, get with the program.
props, Doug, for the viewers.
About hashtag Octothorpe? We could get something started like that.
Truly, the nerds will probably be all over that. We probably should do that, yeah.
I'll write it down in my little notebook.
You
For the
don't have to. I already tweeted about it.
For the viewers that loves the word Octothorpe, just throwing that out there. So you're brought to the next room, which actually is much closer than the walk from Terrible Ideas to Big Gully Corp. And you are brought to a room. It's got the Church of the Great Eye, and you've got a massive orange and red eye as the symbol on the placard.
This kind of looks like a cult.
Again, the doors.
Maybe it's a bunch of stoners and their eyes are
No,
all
listen, if they
bloodshot.
start trying to sell us on purging ghosts from our blood or something, we leave immediately.
Oh, I only think
You don't want the
that's-
ghosts in your blood to be purged?
There are no ghosts in your blood.
There's ghosts.
No,
in
Have
your
you
there
ever
are no ghosts
have you
in your
ever
blood.
seen that there weren't ghosts in your blood?
Guys.
I mean, they're invisible and or
Isn't that a
ethereal.
Serafina song, Ghosts in the Blood?
I don't know, but it'd make a great song.
Yeah, it goes something like da da da
I'm
da,
not angry.
Ghosts
I
in the
am
Blood,
not
da 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 da
peeved
da.
in the slightest. I am not going to punch you in the face and break your nose. I will.
So this room is laid out in a very different style than the other rooms that you've been in. It looks to be like a makeshift, temple or altar, what have you. A single dragonborn, sits cross-legged upon the ground. Simple white robes adorn them, unable to determine any kind of physical features. The dragonborn has a rust red scale of what is visible, and that same eye that was on a placard is emblazoned upon their chest. And for the 20-foot walking that you guys do, continuing your conversation, does not seem to be any kind of response as this being kind of sits there and just looks to have, the legs crossed, arms out to the side, and as you get within that distance, 15, 20 feet, the eyes open, and while they don't quite match the symbol on the chest and the door, it's pretty startling. And with practiced ease, as if they've done this, going from cross-legged to standing, thousands of times, they stand and immediately go into a bow. Greetings. The great eye knows all, sees all. Should you choose to side with us, we offer things that will protect you, heal you. So they don't really seem to be making contact with any of you directly.
Okay.
But all of you seem to get this general sense that you're being seen through. I don't, it's up to you as to how much magic your characters have been exposed to. I know some of you actually can cast spells yourself, but there is definitely an air of majesty and power in this person's presence.
As we're standing there, I creepily pop near Nebula's shoulder and say, he's watching the ghosts in your blood pass through you.
I
just creep away.
I will actually get up and leave again.
I am Bora Firescale.
What does the great eye see in our future, Master Bora?
While the great eye sees and knows all, to tell in something like this, well, it's almost cheating.
Let me tell you what I see. 4 intrepid challengers conquering every challenge in the dungeon with panache and being beloved by the viewers at home.
There will be success.
What I don't see is any kind of sponsorship for this team. They're looking for the perfect one, but they just can't quite find it.
There will be success. There will be failure. The choice is not mine. The choice is yours.
Tabitha, are you talking about Seraphina's team again?
I'm trying to flip the script and flip the interview around, so we're interviewing him.
Oh, I see. That's very smart.
Doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, maybe you should use your big sword on him.
Maybe. Is this just an otherwise empty room?
There's a small, very portable shrine, some candles that are lit. There's a rug that, this Dragonborn was sitting upon.
Is there any identifiable symbology that I might know? I'm a occult fan.
Well, the great eye is
is that a oh yeah, I guess they would be known, they're sponsors, right? It's not like some.
You're right, yeah. So when I say the church, it's literally that. The great eye is a draconic religion.
Oh.
The actual some of the dragons had truly ascended, and in so doing they wound up merging into this singular religion.
Wow.
While there might be some aspects that represent goodly or some malign nature, generally it all falls under that one blanket, and then how you wind up choosing to use that religion is how it's gone.
Oh, okay.
Are there many religions that get involved with this game?
No. This is the only one that does. And for those who have actually watched the show, This is not the first season that the Great Eye has sponsored a team. And, they tend to go towards, very physically performing teams. We know that there are challenges that have had repeat views, but you also know that it's not a set thing where every team matches the same thing every week. This team might see challenge A this week and challenge B next week, or you guys might see challenge C this week and B next week, so that there's some variation, but everyone encounters all of them by the end, so that it's still an even point score. But now that we are numerous seasons into the show, some things kind of fade out and new ones fade in to add fun and variety to the show, and it not so that every season there's always something new, that this is the big one, here's the reveal.
Well, thanks, Bora. I'll just sort of awkwardly back out. I don't know. Does anybody else stay in there?
Nebula
I'm
apparently
just
already-
kind of gonna sidle out, but like not let this like turn my back to this person and just kind of like pull Hefty along.
As we're walking out the door, like, I'm not saying this on purpose so Bora would hear, but I would just say to her, like, well, that was a total dud.
Ghosts in your blood, huh?
I think
They're
it went
real.
really well.
Ghost in your blood, da 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 da. Ghost in your blood, da 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 da. Something something ghost in your blood.
It is kind of catchy.
See, you can't even remember the words.
I mean, fair, but I have a hard time remembering the words to most songs. I mostly just fill it in with da 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 da.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit, Sugar.
But you admit I'm sweet.
I do. Pat, pat.
So another person in a orange shirt, this time without the D&D emblazoned upon them, hands up, walks up to Bill, hands him a box. Bill immediately takes the box, turns around, and hands the box to Tabitha.
Oh, excellent.
Oh.
So, right across the hall here is, the last of your interviews, and then you'll have some kind of time to either, figure out if any of these kind of work or whether you're going to try and go solo. Hopefully you guys will find something that works. But yet again, the door is kind of opened for you, and the room inside vastly different than the rooms that you have previously seen. This one is kind of littered with tack and gear, all kinds of grappling hooks, rope, armors, weapons. There's some firearms and that kind of stuff, although again, those of you who are more familiar with the program know that they're definitely not allowed. This is supposed to invoke the spirit of adventurers of old, but a green box, slightly skewed, with a large M, and then inside that M is a smaller M, and then inside that M is a smaller M, so that there's 3 M's emblazoned together upon that green box.
What an emblem.
A bald female half elf is standing behind a table, kind of going through stuff, having some conversations with a couple other people that are in the room. They've got a black and green tank top on, and most of the available skin is covered in a variety of tattoos, even crawling up the neck and onto most of their skull. They, kind of give you that sizing up look as each of you kind of comes forward. This is Man's Mighty Munitions. Welcome. I hope you're not looking for some kind of elaborate speech. We got the best armor and gear that you might be able to use to kind of get in. The tree run or the treetop is not one that many like. Don't know if it's being retired this year, but it's difficult without some of the stuff that we got here. Some of the deadlier monsters are not going to be able to get through some of our best armors. So decide to work with us. We can certainly soup you up in that regards.
Do you have really, 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 really big swords?
Do we have big swords? Or are you talking
No,
about
really,
something
really, really big swords.
bigger than that one? Pointing towards the one on Tabitha's back.
Look
Yeah,
up from the
like that
devices
size.
I'm hitting send on my first hark. And say, did you say something about big swords?
I mean, we could have something crafted bigger than that, but it's not very wieldy.
I like lean over Tabitha's shoulder, find out what her account is, and go to be her first follower.
It's at Invincible Swordmaster. And her first tweet is, or her first hark is, if your self-worth increases by interacting with a personality on this platform who is awesome, then follow this account. Hashtag sensational chimera, hashtag Octothorpe.
I rehark that.
Is Octothorpe our official hashtag for this campaign now?
It is. I already tweeted that earlier when it came up in conversation.
I love
I
it.
dig.
So you have any questions for me or us or what have you?
How do your blades stack up next to the Blades of Sharpness Company blades?
Well, they make knives that are meant to cut food, and we make weapons that are designed to kill monsters.
Everything's food if if you're brave enough.
She takes out a power pack to one of the weapons that is clearly not allowed in this competition. How brave are you? He slides it forward.
It's a power pack?
It's like a black box that, when you kind of look at it, inside there are two like bluish purple crystals, and you can see the sparks jumping back and forth between them.
We will not be stopped.
I'll pick it up.
You said everything's food. Take a bite.
I don't understand what's going on.
That's not what I meant at all.
But that's what you said.
Ugh. Yeah, I could use this to get the food.
But you said everything's food. I was taking things.
Yeah, you're a little bit literal.
I mean,
what does this do
everything-
anyway? And I touch her right on the sternum.
You touch her.
Yeah.
She is going to try and get out of the way. Are you going to pursue when she tries to move?
Well, I just tried to touch her sternum with it. That's all.
So, are there screws in the thing? And in the thing that Anzo was just handed, are there screws in it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, can I take it? Can I have that for a second?
Well, right now we're trying to resolve whether or not he actually hits her with this thing. So she attempts to avoid. You can make a attack roll.
Well, that is only a 12.
Oh, thank God. She nimbly gets out of the way. She has some dexterity to her that was probably evident in her very athletic form. We Are you trying to zap me?
Is that what this does? I've never seen one of these before.
So she hands, she puts out her hand, and gestures you to give it to her. And she pulls up, one of these objects that it slides into, the casing attached to a barrel, and it's essentially like a magazine or a power pack for like a rifle.
Oh, they're illegal. We're not allowed to use those.
Right. It's not here for a display of this is what you're gonna get. This thing here is, one of the things that we're known for. So we figured show you the best of the best.
But we can't use it in the competition?
Well, no, but I mean, there's other things that are comparable and other things that we make that will certainly be able to help you out.
Oh, do you have a replica sword from the Dungeoneer? The comic book about the superhero that went dungeon delving back in the day. And he always had a different party every single issue because they always died, except for him. He was the best.
We got a Robin.
Oh, and this is in character.
Oh. I don't think we have any replica swords, but if you wanted something specifically tailored and you worked with us, we could absolutely have that engineered for you.
Oh.
Nebula,
I'll take a bite of it.
you want to take a bite of this?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Try me. I'm gonna take one of the screws out and swallow it.
Well, that's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, but you're impressed right now.
Yes, indeed. So,
You eat metal?
I just did.
Touche.
So, yeah, you're a bit crazy. I kind of like that. I don't know what else to say here. I've got great stuff.
Well, where's the great stuff that we could use?
Well, I had already, as Ted already stated, that there is armor. There's
okay. I'm sorry.
Weapons. There's all different kinds of like
Gotcha.
utility belt type style things,
Oh.
grappling hooks and rope, bound, variety of different, different
Sorry.
weight, if you will.
And whose mighty munitions was this? I slappily wrote it down when you said it. I
Man's.
just can't read.
It's
Man's?
Man's mighty munition.
Man's, okay.
Because power should make you say,
I love it.
Oh man, I kind of want to go with this person just because of that slogan.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, thank you. So she introduces herself, once the conversation actually gets going. Her name is Mandrid.
Mandarin?
Mandrid.
Okay.
Mandid. So I don't know if I gave you the tagline for all of them, but the great eye is all seeing, all knowing. Terrible ideas, all ideas should be terrible ideas. And a full belly brought to you by Big Billy are the slogans that
Okay.
been given within each of the variety of interviews.
You should just roll up in there like NASCAR.
Well, hello there, Mandrid. My name is Burke, and this is Hefty. And that there is the famous one-hit wonder, Nebula. And she doesn't
Don't
like
call me that.
Serafina. And We have Enzo over here, and that's Tabitha. She likes the big swords, as you can see.
Bet you like the big swords.
I look up and I'm like, hey, I've got a follower. It's the one Nebula. And I'm like, oh, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh. So you've got big swords?
So she
Uh,
was, to go through the introductions, but she's definitely eyeing up Hefty. Haven't seen Ganchuans running in the city before. I can only assume it's trained.
Oh, yes, he's trained very well. Also, he's just a baby. I would hate to think if a proper Ganchuan was running around in the city.
I give you a point of advice. I wouldn't let. I mean, point. She nods her head towards Hefty, alone with the goblin down there.
Oh, yeah, I kind of got that impression myself. Like, I like the fast food well enough, especially after a hard day on the farm. But, yeah, I kind of got that impression.
Well, given the size of a full-grown Ganchuan, that's a lot of meat. So, like, they are herd animals. So, like, they are totally used for meat and consumption. So, there is probably a Ganchuan burger on a Big Billy's menu. So,
Oh, yes, I'm sure there is. It's, this Hefty, this one here, he's not for eating. He's my pet. I mean, if you had a pet cockatrice, you wouldn't eat it, would you? I mean, granted, most people wouldn't eat a cockatrice anyway. There's been a recent problem with the meat, but the eggs are where it's at.
Apparently you just don't eat pets, and that's the line to draw.
Mm-hmm.
So, can't really tell. I'm not the most that people person. You want to work together?
can you make
Or,
armor for Hefty?
Oh,
I'm
I
really
bet he'd like
concerned
that.
about Hefty being put on the menu now.
yeah, we could certainly do something like that.
Oh, that would certainly be
To
appreciated.
retrofit bit of tack. Could kind of put a harness here, and she starts discussing some different things about like you have this spot here that you could do this, and
Oh, could you make it spiky and edgy like Tabitha and Nebula?
Wait, which one's spiky and which one's edgy between those two?
I'm not
I'm
sure yet.
confused.
I think it switches
Oh.
back and forth.
That makes sense. Nebula, what do you think? Like, I'm all in with this one, but I don't know.
I don't want to be somebody's second choice, so I'm here. Let's go. Let's go with this one for sure.
Whatever.
Well, ma'am, if you'll have us, I think we'd like to be your team.
All right. So,
But Enzo needs lots of sharp knives.
well, I mean, we can certainly do knives. You guys, basically give Bill the nod. There's some minor paperwork, and they begin discussing some designs for armor and weapons, things that you might be looking for. So like if there's anything in particular that you would want that would kind of be an upgrade on any of those things, that would entirely be able to be done here, and then beyond, Manfred would be able to tell you that there's a variety of things that they would be able to provide you, as the competition goes on, they can't reveal to you what information the host or the master winds up providing with the layers of the event. But if you kind of get stuck, as a team, every event you can kind of give a call out to the sponsor, and they can basically parachute drop a package that is going to be best suited to help you with whatever that particular challenge is. If it's a combat, it's especially with man's munitions, it's going to be something that's probably going to go boom. If it's some kind of hazardy thing, it could be some specialized gear. It mechanically might just be something like, okay, you're going to have advantage on this, or it might be, hey, I freaking need a grappling hook and I don't have one, and it would come in and negate the whole need for a roll because you now have whatever special tool that that would be.
Cool.
So regardless of which sponsor you had gone with, this idea of the sponsor drop would be able to happen. I didn't want to reveal that till you'd already chosen which
Sure.
one you guys were going with.
And do we have we just have to shout them out basically?
So the idea is, one of you guys would then during a run, you could totally just be like, all right, I'm stealing it from the team and doing it, or
Okay.
you'd be able to discuss amongst yourselves like, hey, should we? But that tagline is what you would actually call out in character.
Oh.
That is,
That's
you
neat.
literally-
Okay.
you do the sponsor drop, and that actually calls in the item.
Okay. Because
So
power
what is
should
the
be-
tagline again? Something
Power
weapons should make you say
mm.
Weapons should make you say
Because
Power.
power should
Power.
make you say mm.
Oh.
3 M's, 3 exclamation points.
Oh my notes are not wanting to work for me right now.
And nobody
That's frustrating.
specified the tone in which we should say that. You asked for this.
I didn't hear a specification.
Well, ma'am, it's gonna be great working with you. And I offer my hand across the counter.
Oh yeah, she totally reaches out, takes it, gives a firm handshake. Is the kind of person that's the style. So we can work out the stuff off camera in between sessions and what have you as to the particular specifics that you're looking for, that you work out with Mandrid. But after your planning time, when you step out of the room, you realize that the name has been removed from the door, but the placard is still there. Anyone trained in insight, kind of figures out that that's been removed as a potential for any of the other teams that might still be looking for a sponsor. And you're brought back to your kind of staging area, locker room, to be able to kind of settle in. You've got your own team room, but in the midst the travels, the 6 teams all have a common room that leads off into your own team room with resting quarters or locker, showers, that kind of stuff, everything you might need to be able to clean yourselves up. But as you
Do all the
in,
teams live in the same facility during these times?
yes,
So we can give them dirty looks in the hall and stuff.
so
All right.
You would be interested in giving them dirty looks.
Mhm.
But as you are, passing through, this kind of main area, you see seated at a particular table, there is a warforged, a halfling, a gnome, and an elf that seem to be having a conversation. And they have got emblazoned upon their left shoulder this kind of like pseudo amorphous blob with like eyes and mouths in numerous places, and they certainly are like stopping the conversation, checking out each of you as you begin walking by.
Yeah, flirty little finger wave.
Head to the kitchen area.
The warforged, steps up, or stands up as you kind of wave, and as he does so, you can see that like there's very sparse in the way of clothing, but he definitely has more like a stole, and you see a box literally bolted to his hip, and in that box there's a book that's sticking out of it. Definitely makes you think that that's some kind of one of those book casters of whatnot.
Oh, I was thinking rival chef. He had his own cookbook with him.
I love that's where your brain went.
Well,
did you say you go up to him, Nebula?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, greetings. I am Memory.
Nebula.
You have a, pardon the pun, but a memorable face. Have you done something previous?
I might have dabbled in a bit of music, yeah.
Well, then perhaps that is where I have observed you. But not to be rude, and he, points to one companion after another. This is Ebro Barfoot, pointing to the halfling. This is Zedemeyer Kinsert, a gnome, wearing all green. And this is Ari Adamoria, as pointing to the elf, who also stands up and who also seems to have a book at their side.
I lean over towards Enzo and say, I can never remember those long elf names. Can you?
You kind of get used to it after a while. Hey, I'm heading for the kitchen. I'm making dwarven potato waffles for anyone that wants them with a elven cinnamon sauce.
Do they have real dwarves and elves in them?
Don't be ridiculous.
So, by the same vein, our chef is Enzo. The one with the look on her face like she's got something foul smelling under her nose is Tabitha, and that's Burke.
Over my shoulder, and I'm a real wizard in the kitchen. And
oh yeah, and that shaggy fella over there is Hefty.
You say you're a wizard. I would be interested to know what spells you have brought with you.
I'm about to whip up a couple right now, so hold on to your hat or your book, as the case may be.
The Warforged literally pulls the book out and begins observing you.
Yeah, that's good. You're going to take notes. I mean, a master chef doesn't need a book to work from. They just whip it right up. They can do it by taste and smell and eyeball it. But everyone starts someplace.
The elf, on the other hand, sits down, fully understanding what you're talking about, but does not say anything to the Warforged, who stands completely motionless, clearly waiting for you to do something magical.
Excellent. I will describe everything I'm doing it as I do it. I will narrate it. It's going to start with chopping the potatoes. And of course, like we don't just chop the potatoes. We got to juggle the knives. Got to spin the potato, maybe in the air. It's a whole art form.
All
I
right.
will record a short video of that and put it on my Hark account.
All right. So you
I reblog that.
You are doing this. I would like if you're talking about flipping it up, I'm going to ask for a cooking tools check. You're going to add your dexterity and your charisma modifier because you are performing this as well.
Okay, it is basically the same. I also do have performance, so.
Well, if you would like to make both,
well, that's an 18 on cooking utensils.
Okay.
Performance is going to be a 5.
A 5. All right. So while what you taste is good, why don't you tell me how you flub the performance?
Yeah, so whoever was in the kitchen last did not clean up after themselves and they spilled some oil on the floor, and I totally banana peel it and land up falling on my ass.
The gnome and the halfling just completely, break out in, belly laughs.
And I'm like, don't write that part down.
And the Warforged is like,
kitchen fail.
What
Hashtag.
was that part of it? So we'll fast forward. A handful of other people come through, but seeing everything that's going on, they don't stop and engage in conversation or engage in the spectacle. But you're able to, talk to this group as much as you like.
Do the other people coming and going also have any kind of logo identification as these people did?
You do wind up seeing 2 other teams. You see walking through, there is, sorry.
Yeah,
my dock is jumping and my heartburn is killing me.
I have been there.
There is a pair of crossed black swords.
Ooh.
And in that particular group, there is a human dressed in very iconic greens and browns, complete with the green mantle and hood.
Mm-hmm.
There is a kobold who seems to have a number of items strapped to a harness and belt. There is a Goliath with a massive club that looks like it's got bits of metal and stone just shoved into it. And then, following behind, there is a female half-orc, and she's got a variety of weapons. And there is definitely a bit of a sizing up and a bit of a glare as they walk past and head towards the room that looks to be designated for them, with the that crossed blades logo above the door.
Did they seem kind of standoffish?
To some extent, they did not look like they were interested in engaging in any particular conversation.
Oh, I smile and finger wave as they pass, and then as soon as they turn their backs, I'm just gonna crush you.
I'm going to. Can we assume these arcane devices are just basically cell phones?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take a photo of the Goliath with the club and post that and say, I don't understand why anyone would use a club instead of a sword. It's totally pointless. Hashtag sensational chimera. Hashtag Octothorpe.
And when I reblog that, I add hashtag wonderful punning.
And I will reblog that more and say hashtag save a tree, don't throw shade.
The other team that you wind up seeing in its full, there is a Earth Genasi, a Tabaxi, a dwarf, and a half elf. And as they kind of come in, um, it takes a little bit of looking. They definitely haven't put on their their sashes or their arm cuffs, but I don't care which of you wants to have noticed, but one of you sees these cuff hanging from one of their belts, and it is totally that bizarre underground farting creature, the Flumph. And you do see that as they enter their room, you do see that there, so then as you notice that there are 6 doors and 3, 4 at this point in time, there is definitely another logo for the Displacer Beasts. And then the Shining Unicorn, which apparently they have already checked in.
Mm-hmm. Hey, why don't we have any kind of cool merch and logos?
Well, what does the logo for the Sensational Chimera look like?
Oh no, I was asking my fellow team members.
Sorry, what?
We will.
Why don't we have any cool logos?
We could.
Seems like we should get one.
Yeah, we'll get to work on that.
Yeah.
We survive our first run, and we'll get right on that.
Well, you guys know that you were the last team, so like beyond coming up with a name, coming up with a logo, you guys have probably a day and a half, depending upon schedule, before you would wind up going through your run. That would give you time to have your final meeting with the sponsor, get everything sized up and fitted accordingly, for it to be dropped for your first run. You're able to kind of settle in and get prepared. At this point in time, Bill winds up coming back. He's definitely had a long day. It does not appear. It appears that you're not the only ones that he has dealt with. It's like we're getting in. We're getting in close. Did you guys have any final questions before I take my leave for the day?
When do we do our first run?
So we're working out the schedule now, but depending upon things, it'll either be this time tomorrow or first thing the day after.
Who's got the first run?
The first run was actually team 3.
Oh, some of the teams have already gone through it.
No, run start tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So Black Razor's Revenge. They'll be going tomorrow. Tristan, Srick, Crumb, and Bress. You think you actually just saw them kind of come through. They get first run at whatever winds up being the being the their first run.
Were they the real unfriendly looking ones?
I mean, they've done this before. They're pardon the expression, in it to win it. They didn't win last year, and they're kind of ticked about it.
They're not going to win this year.
They can get used to that. High five.
Well, I don't have a say in that. I just kind of help behind the scenes here.
That's Bill that we're talking to?
Yes.
Okay.
but tomorrow, while we're in between runs, you guys are able to, kind of watch. And he points off to the side where there is a telescreen in here. But you can be able to see how they do. The order will change each time, not only between what the event is, but the order of how you all go into the delve, just so that all advantages are, kind of a mixed bag. Um, it's going to be a fun time. How many of you guys have actually watched the program at home?
Oh, me, definitely.
Big fan. Stan it.
All right. Are there any particular challenges that you're hoping don't come back, or anything that you're looking forward to actually try?
I feel like if I tell you that, you're just gonna end up putting us through it.
I have no control over any of that. I was merely just trying to have some polite conversation.
Oh, well, I mean, as long as we don't have to go through the one that's underwater.
Well,
Or they had a pendulum nonsense.
Oh
Well,
man, didn't somebody like almost die trying that one?
I think
Well,
somebody
they're-
did die.
no,
I
they
don't
had,
like the fire hall. That one kind of scares me. I'm usually doing the cooking, not being cooked.
You're talking about the frying pan. That one is a bit tough. Not a lot of the contestants particularly like that.
No, not the frying pan, the scorcher. The frying pan looked pretty bad too.
Well, the pendulum, I think retired last year, but I can't be sure. And the underwater one we haven't used in several seasons. And to say for the last time, no one has ever died on this particular program. There are safety features. We have got, clockers, close at hand to do any kind of, healing surgery as needed. They're both trained in medicine as well as clerical magic. Have no fear.
The clocker is here.
Yes, the clockers are here, ready to go. Don't worry. They're standing by, with magic ready to be able to reach out actually into the, to the delve if need be. They're, only the few who actually are capable of doing that. Can't let you know how. It's a bit of a trade secret. But magic typically cannot come from outside to, prevent tampering. Trust me, we've been doing this for a long time. We've got all the safety measures, figured out. It's going to be a blast. Just have fun, and remember, it's a performance. You gotta cater to that crowd and do the things that are going to make them smile, laugh, and cheer your name.
Like strike a pose.
So Ted,
Yes, sir.
like, do they bring food? Is there like a common cooking area where people just, they have to like kind of fend for themselves and do their own thing?
Yes to both.
Okay.
There is food and stuff provided, but as a chef extraordinaire, if you specifically ask for stuff, it is provided. All of you are fairly fairly well treated. They tell you that in between performances there are areas that you can go to train and experience some of the things that have been done before. Some of the events you can essentially get access to similar situations, without knowing exactly the things that will be there. It's it's basically a trial run, but it's a way for you to keep your edge sharp, if you will.
So I want to turn to the rest of the crew once Billy leaves
Sure.
and like pull them off to the side. So what's our out of dungeon strategy going to be? Like, how are we going to get in their heads? Do we try and keep them up late tonight and get them drinking so they have a rough day? Maybe a little food poisoning.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
never think of playing dirty.
I think we should leave the ones with all the mouths and eyeballs alone. I actually kind of like memory.
Any of those
But-
extraplanar folks, we could sneak into their room and I'll draw a magic circle around their bed so they can't leave the room in the morning.
I feel like
make
we'd
'em
get
late.
caught doing that.
Yeah, that is kind of blatant. You know, that's pretty blatant, but diarrhea just happens sometimes.
I don't know. why
Everybody
this
takes a
seems
trip
like
on the
just
Hershey
makes
Highway
sense.
at some point.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Just something I remember a snippet of hearing in the past.
Well, on that note, as we're winding down to our last several minutes here, for the viewers at home, hope you've been enjoying this little first foray into Dungeons and Delving. We'll be back next week with these particular characters, getting ready to jump into their first dive. We'll do a quick time skip and briefly narrate what has actually transpired between now and then. But this is episode 1. We'll be looking forward to episode 2. So with that, any final thoughts, final remarks, people?
This is awesome. I can't wait to actually delve into the dungeon.
Had to.
Yeah. I will hark
The
out
real
TIL Dungeons and Delving.
The real battles are
not
going to
like
happen
threatening.
between the
Unkillables.
delves.
Oh, this is legitimately like my favorite parts of the Hunger Games. So.
All right. So with that, until next time.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.